Welcome back to Cycle Wisdom, where we empower women to restore natural menstrual cycles, to improve health, and promote fertility. I'm your host, Dr. Monica Minjeur, and I'm so glad you're listening today. On today's episode, I'm really excited to share with you our guest, Jennifer Mixdorf, and she is a hormone coach here at Radiant Clinic. And, as we wrap up our series all about hormones, I wanted to give people an opportunity to hear more about what hormone coaching is. So for those of you who may be wanting to learn more or dig a little deeper into hormones, but don't really know where to start, hormone coaching may be a great place to begin your journey. So I'm going to have Jennifer introduce herself. Tell us a little bit about how you became a hormone coach.
Thank you for having me today. Again, my name is Jennifer Mixdorf. I live here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa with my husband and our 5 kids, ages 12 down to 2. So my professional background is in pharmacy. I worked as a pharmacist for 6 years. And during that time, I had my first kid, who's now 12 years old. After he was born, I became more aware of the natural health world and wanted to explore some of those options for our family. So some of that for us involved learning a fertility awareness method, taking natural birth classes, and then having my other 4 kids being born via natural birth, and then also using some essential oils to address a lot of our health needs. So as time went on and I kept learning more, I found myself kind of being drawn more towards like the women's health arena and trying to see how I can provide support and help to women. So last year I became a certified hormone coach through the Fiat Institute. And then I also started training this past summer to become a FEMM practitioner.
So this is kind of your own personal journey into wanting to know more, and then it kind of led into this hormone coaching sessions.
Yes, exactly.
So what do your sessions involve as a hormone coach? Like, what does it look like when you're working with clients?
Great question. So my overall goal when I'm working with a woman would be to help her understand her natural feminine design and to help her really learn to appreciate her body. I want her to know that she is seen. She doesn't have to live with the struggles she's been experiencing, but we will work together to kind of move the needle in those areas. So a lot of women don't learn information regarding their cycle and kind of the ebbs and flows of that and how they also affect us on a physical, mental, and emotional manner and how that can change throughout the cycle. So I love helping women kind of turn on the light bulb in this area of information so they can kind of understand themselves better. So when I meet with a woman, we meet individually for 5 different sessions, and this is over about a 3-month time period. So we meet roughly every 2 to 3 weeks. The client will identify their top 3 goals that they want to address during our sessions. And this could be anything from mood and anxiety concerns. Maybe they want to address acne or cramps, maybe different ways to balance their hormones naturally, or maybe implement some different cycle-centric ideas such as exercise. And so we'll kind of co-create this hormone support plan that will move the needle on those 3 goals. And so each time we meet, we kind of revisit this hormone support plan and see what adjustments we need to make. I'm obviously not a nurse or a doctor, and so I can't diagnose or interpret labs or treat conditions. However, I can refer clients to doctors such as yourself when necessary. So one of the things that I always think about when I'm working with somebody is this acronym LEARN. And so L stands for listen. One of my main jobs is to listen, and many women don't feel heard in the arena of women's health. So I'm here to listen to you and your story. E stands for education. A huge part of our sessions involve education. You'll learn all about your estrogen genius, your progesterone genius, and other areas of the body that can impact our hormones. A stands for addressing symptoms. And so we'll use natural tools to help support any symptoms of hormone imbalance that you experience. And then we'll also work to address any root areas. R stands for root restoration. So I really love using essential oils myself. I see them as nature's medicine, and my family has had so many positive experiences. So I love teaching clients about them and how they can be a possible tool for them to use. There might also be some supplements that I can suggest that the client talk with their doctor about that might help address some of those symptoms or some of the root causes that we are looking at. So the goal is to not just slap a Band-Aid over a woman's symptoms or her concerns, but really dig into what the root cause could be and how to appropriately address that. And then the last letter N is to take any next steps that might be necessary if somebody needs to be referred on.
I love that. And I love that you make a unique treatment plan for each person, that it's not just a one-size-fits-all.
Yes, definitely very individualized.
Yeah, that's great. So how is hormone coaching different from having somebody charting their cycles?
Yes, great question. So I am a FEMM practitioner, so I can definitely help a woman learn how to chart her cycles, which I think is very important for any women to have that knowledge and that skill. With hormone coaching, though, we do talk about the cycle and talk about some details regarding it, but it's much more than using her chart, which is simply some data points. And so we can use the chart information because it's some measurable points to use. However, as a hormone coach, I see the woman behind the chart as a whole person and really provide the feminine aspect of support that she needs. You can think of me as like a hormone doula or support sister. I really want women to know that what is normal with her cycle, what is not normal. For example, PMS symptoms have been very normalized in society, and I don't think that should be the case. So while they might be common, it shouldn't be something that would be considered normal. One big thing that kind of sets hormone coaching apart is when we look at other areas of the body that can be related to our hormones. And so I look at this acronym GILAS, Gilas. G stands for gut. Our gut health is very critical to help other areas of the body function properly. So if your gut microbiome is off balance, or if a woman deals with leaky gut or some gastrointestinal condition, it's likely that her hormones may not be functioning optimally. The gut also needs to be functioning properly to help absorb the nutrients that she's getting from her food, because those can be the building blocks of our hormones. And so making sure that a woman isn't avoiding healthy sources of fat or completely avoiding cholesterol, because we need some of those to help make the hormones. And then in that acronym, I stands for inflammation. There is inflammation in all areas of the body, and we can kind of see them affecting each other. And so if I suspect a woman might be dealing with inflammation, it might be worthwhile to explore her thyroid function, for example. L stands for liver. The liver has over 500 important roles in the body. One of them is to filter out excess hormones, particularly estrogen. And so if the liver is overwhelmed and overworked, we might see a woman having too much estrogen on board, which could lead to a state of estrogen dominance. And so one of the things you might consider is looking at the household products that she uses, because sometimes these can have an impact on the liver and increase the chances of estrogen dominance for a woman. The letter A stands for adrenals. And so I can't think of a single woman who doesn't regularly experience stress of some sort. And so it definitely seems like it's a constant in society. Everyone's so busy and on the go. And so this stress and overwhelm is definitely going to have an impact on our adrenal health and then our cycles also. And so in regards to our cycle, women might feel more anxious or have more moods up and downs at the end of their cycle. So walking through some different tools to help address that and some lifestyle adaptations that she can make to address them in a more natural way. Another thing I love teaching women about are different cycle-centric lifestyle habits. So working with a hormone coach is unlike any other coach because I tie together the women's cycle to her womanhood. So for example, there's typically like some sort of fad diet people are following or a fad exercise program that might be popular at the time. And so instead of going off one of those and recommending that, we look at it more as teaching a woman to adjust different aspects of her lifestyle based around where she is at in her cycle. So that can be depending on if you're in your estrogen genius phase or your progesterone genius phase. You're going to support your body and your hormones best by focusing on specific foods, different forms of exercise. Maybe you're going to adjust what type of work you're doing. Your relationships may look a little bit different during different parts of your cycle. So one of my favorite things is the cycle-centric exercise, because a lot of women don't realize that we should kind of be adapting our exercise based on where we are at in our cycle. We typically think we just need to like push hard every day and make ourselves do more, but that's really not the case. We're actually better off if we honor the natural ebbs and flows of our cycle and really listen to our bodies. So maybe you've noticed one week that you do a HIIT exercise and you like rocked it and feel really good about it, but then the next week it felt really difficult and you had to drag yourself through it. It's probably because of your hormones. And so I teach women the changes in each parts of our cycle and how to really adapt those different appropriate exercises. So helping us learn how to work with our body and not really against it. One of the last things that I like to address with a woman is looking at her individual needs and what other support she might need. So this might include different mindset work, addressing any cognitive distortions she has, or kind of these knots in her womanhood is what I refer to as. And so these knots that she might be experiencing impact ourselves individually, they impact our relationships with others, and then also impact what impact we want to have in the world. And so those knots can really have a ripple effect and impact other areas of our life. And so really helping women to navigate those true pain points. For example, women may be experiencing a short luteal phase or maybe some brown spotting. Those could potentially indicate low progesterone levels. But as a hormone coach, we want to address those root symptoms by partnering with a physician, but also thinking beyond that and just how does a woman talk to herself in regards to that. So if she's trying to achieve pregnancy, maybe she tells herself, I will never get pregnant, or my body doesn't like me, my body hates me. And so working to identify those distortions and knots and how we can reframe them and change her outlook and mindset in that regards. And so it really depends on the need of the woman. I have several different exercises that we can do to help move the needle for herself in those different areas.
So from what I'm hearing, you would be a proponent of somebody charting their cycles and working with a hormone coach in different ways that they can kind of help together in order to understand what's going on with their cycles, but also kind of what are the underlying causes that may be impacting their cycles beyond just the medical things that we're evaluating.
Yes, they definitely have different benefits individually, but kind of pairing them together really gives a bigger overall picture for a woman. So I definitely can see working with a client doing both of those at the same time.
So what kind of clients do you work with?
I will work with any woman that has a cycle. So that could be from teenagers who are just starting to have normal cycles up to women starting that perimenopause.
Okay. How about if someone wants to learn more about hormone coaching, how can they find out more?
Yes, you can email me. The email address is jennifer@radiantclinic.com with any questions that you might have. And I also offer a free 20-minute consult that's pretty much just like a discovery call that you offer, but for hormone coaching. And so you can contact me at that email address and we can find a time that works. I will send you a short questionnaire beforehand, and then I will take the time to listen to your hormone story, ask any questions to gain more clarity, and then provide some feedback for you based on what you've shared with me.
So this all sounds awesome. So if I'm somebody who wants to get started working with you, it sounds like make that discovery call request first to get that time set up. But what does that look like then as far as getting started with working with you at the actual visits?
Yes, so you can either call the clinic or you can visit our website, radiantclinic.com, and sign up for the hormone coaching package from there. And once that has happened, we will be in touch to schedule your first session. That can happen probably within the next week.
Anything else you'd like to add as far as other tips for our listeners today?
I just want women to really know that there's a lot of information that they can learn for themselves, for their family and their friends, just to kind of help them have a better understanding of their body and the changes that happen every month and what's normal and what's not. And I love to partner with women to kind of turn on that light bulb to help them see and help them love and appreciate their bodies.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to have you working with a lot of our clients, and we look forward to continuing to partner with you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to this interview. I hope you learned more about the genius of your hormones. Now, if you're ready to start working with me, go to our website, radiantclinic.com, where you can schedule a free discovery call with me to learn more about our model of care. We are currently able to see people for in-person appointments in the Cedar Rapids area or can arrange for a telehealth visit if you live in the state of Iowa. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please share this podcast with someone in your life who would benefit from our services. Remember to subscribe to this podcast for more empowering content. I sincerely appreciate your support, and I look forward to sharing more with you on our next episode of Cycle Wisdom.